This is what giggles behind the scene.
kunja yoga pose.
Suidaga.
Hi everyone, welcome back to another episode of A Drink with
Mary
and Meena. And today we have our special guest who's a dear friend, Dinesh. I think some of you might know, or a lot of you might know Dinesh from DYG workshops and DYG events. And I think we went through that workshop as well.
Yeah.
It's
both different times though.
Yeah, different times. And it's a workshop about discovering your gifts or exploring your gifts and sort of guiding you through different techniques to reach your goal, and also exploring why we haven't reached it yet,
or even rediscovering altogether all in all. Maybe that's not what you meant to do, you know.
Plus the main thing is it's a very safe space for everybody. I think people come together and are safe and feel comfortable enough to be vulnerable in that
it's
workshop.
a space for like-minded people as well, I guess, because you'd go there if you're already thinking like that, right? It's not like an event where you just, you know, Saturday type. Okay, you go there because you want to be there, not because you're dragged. So that's the
we've made good friends there as well.
I mean, here
guys, you should cut this clip and give me for put it on my website.
that's fine.
You can do a good promotion. You can even run the the workshop in the future.
Just saying, he didn't pay us to say this, by the way.
But Dinesh has always been, we've always followed his DYG events and events, and a lot of people have felt very good coming out of those workshops. But beyond that, we're probably mainly talking about your recent visit and your recent stay at Isha Foundation in India. And if people don't know what Isha Foundation is, it's the foundation of Sadhguru in South India. And Dinesh here spent about 9 months recently there, volunteering and learning directly from them. So Dinesh, let's talk about what you were like before and what you're like now, or what kind of changes your spiritual journey has made in you and within you. Because if people didn't know, Dinesh is also a close friend of my boyfriend, and he always says to me, there's a stark difference between the Dinesh he knew back in the days and the Dinesh now. And there was at one point suddenly you became somebody else, but for the better. That's what he describes, but he's a nice guy. So I just wanted to know, and usually when people have a sudden or a huge difference in their personality or in their spirit, there must have something happened in there for you to go through it. How did it all start? How did it all, how did you embark on this journey?
Okay, so to cut the long story short, one day I sat in the rock, and then all of a sudden I had this realization, and damn, I'm a different person.
That'd be cool if you could do that.
Yeah.
The clouds parted. There was this light came through. I wish it was like that.
Did you have a halo?
Yeah.
We like that.
Or you could just say, I was walking down the road, I tripped on something, I fell, I hit my head, and then suddenly I woke up a different person.
Yes. And that's more convincing.
That's you being mean as well, though. She's like, I hit my head.
I think a lot of a lot of those people who've had some accident, and I think they become like a very intellectual, very intelligent, or like a sort of genius. Something within them came out. They became more like
Mistakes make you smarter, basically.
Sometimes if you hit your head too hard, then you become a genius.
Maybe I should
Don't
try
this at home. Don't try this at home.
Oh God.
So to answer your question, so when did it start? So you mentioned the change that I went through. I think earlier we also talked about the spiritual journey that I've had. So let me just quickly start. As you know, we're all from Nepal, right? And how how influenced, how spiritually and religiously influenced it is. We got Hindu and Buddhism, one or two of the biggest religion, and I was also in some way, I guess, influenced by that. And I wasn't too religious or ritualistic, but I was kind of fascinated, especially the story of Buddha, and I really that really inspired me how he went from prince to a monk, and then he questioned the old, he questioned what everyone was experiencing. Why do people get old? Why do people get old? Why do people get sick? Why do people die? And I guess I had some of those questions in my head, but not exactly the same question. For example, like, where did I come from? Where will I go after I die? How big is the cosmos? I used to look up in the sky and think, like, how big is this? Like, where does it end? Where does it, begin? So that sort of question, I guess we all have that question. We just tend to, as we grow up, we get too busy and we just bury it down somewhere.
I think life gets you, doesn't it?
Yes,
some people don't have time to explore it. Some people don't have the courage to explore it. Some people just are so busy living life that they forget to have those deep connections. But yeah, go ahead.
So yeah, that happened, and actually my aunt played a big role in kind of introducing me to spirituality. She took me to one of Osho's, Osho, right? Osho's, we have many centers, Osho Center in Nepal, and she took me one of them one day, and I went there, and I don't remember exactly what happened or what people in front said, but I just felt good, like, I felt like I belonged there. Good vibe, good energy. I got to know a little bit about the founder, Osho. And it was really inspiring. I went back home, and my aunt gave me some books to read, like kind of very different books that I'm not used to reading. And that kind of also, made me more interested in this whole spiritual thing. But things really took a turn before coming to UK, I was actually, one of my best friends, he got into an accident, and like I went through a very tough time at that time, questioning myself, like, why am I here? Will I die tomorrow? Like, things like that, existential question. And after that, I came to the UK, and then in Nepal, although we have internet, I was too busy playing games at the time. So
you were on the dial-up days? Dial-up days?
Yeah. So
it costs a lot of money.
See, that's the Dinesh that my boyfriend describes, isn't it?
Yeah, so too busy playing games, I didn't have time to explore. But after coming to UK, I found out this amazing platform called YouTube, and I was like, typing, searching, any question I had, like, oh, what is this? Like, and through YouTube, I found a lot of spiritual teachers, like Western spiritual teachers, and I got inspired by them. And this was sort of like a small side hobby that I like to explore every now and again. Obviously, I was doing work and this and that, but this was something I used to do whenever I was curious and wanted to know. I guess I always had this desire to know more, more about myself, about the world, about everything, and especially to know the truth. Right? Not the truth that the society tells us to believe in, and not the truth that we want to believe in, but the truth, the ultimate. So that's how I kind of got started. But the whole, it's not a straightforward answer, because it didn't happen like suddenly. It took a long year, and many years to develop. And slowly I got into spirituality, and even more than spirituality, I got into personal development, because at the time, I guess, when I was a teenager, or mainly, especially when I was in my 20s, I went through a lot of mental and emotional, challenges. A lot of, I wasn't balanced. Inside I wasn't balanced. So kind of tried to look for ways to help myself, to develop myself in many ways. That's how I came across this whole personal development industry. I read tons of books, watched videos, and so I tried to work on myself slowly. So that's how it gradually started.
And you passing on those thoughts and you passing on those guidance, it has definitely helped a lot of people that we know about. No?
Yeah, especially like people who've attended your workshop. Your energy radiates through it.
Yeah.
Like every people that I've met from the workshop, to be fair, it's sort of like a networking event.
Yeah.
Not intentionally and unintentionally, I guess. Like every time you post something inspirational, you get the feedback like, oh, you're doing amazing, you know. It's just the energy that radiates through it. It's
a very supportive
environment. It is. It honestly is.
And I think we need more of that in our life, especially in this day and age of, internet and social media, where you can be pushed down so easily, but
to believe what they have to believe. Like, I'm right now in where Dinesh is past, basically. I'm living that. Why am I here? Why was I born?
What's my
purpose? Is it really what I'm doing right now, or I can do more? What can I explore more? Well, I'm in kind of like that sort of phase right now. And whatever you're saying is like, I can relate to it. But obviously I wish to aspire to be where you are. But I'm at the minute like exploring a lot of means and ways to connect to yourself at the minute, because I think that's what I need the most. And at the minute I'm very much into law of attraction. So you attract people who you want to attract, and your energy attracts the same kind of people.
Right.
So I'm very much into that at the minute, because only one step at a time, I guess. It plays a big role as well. And I guess the whole reason why we stumbled upon DYG event is because it's not because he's like your friend, you wanted to do it. It's just you thought it was the right thing to do at that time. And you met the same kind of people.
And you must have probably searched for something to end up there. I'm a strong believer of, fate takes you at exactly where you need to be at the right time. And we were meant to be there, to be honest, I think. And we've both felt the benefits of that. But also, like, please help yourself. We prepared a feast. I wouldn't say a feast, but we
vegetarian feast, by the way.
It would be really awkward while you two are talking. I'll be like munching on
go ahead.
Go ahead. Like, I think that would be a compliment to us. Mary mostly who prepared the crackers and all that.
And also, all of a sudden, if you ask me a question, I'll be like,
don't worry, we'll edit that part out.
Like, Dinesh is eating.
But we can enjoy slowly. Or we can always do that after the video or whatever.
Oh, by the way, we're drinking a glass of red wine.
I forgot to mention.
And I'm just drinking English breakfast tea.
Okay.
Simple.
We're on the wine. Summer is coming when
we start bringing alcohol
in episodes
out.
Of
we start bringing alcohol pretty much.
And since I just came back from India, for me this is winter. So
that is true. That's true. So how was it like the whole transition? You went there in that foundation, ashram, whatever you'd like to call it. Like, it was a huge transition from your life here to go in there.
But before that, why Isha Foundation?
Why Isha Foundation?
How did you come to the decision that was the place that you wanted to go and for this long time go? Because it's a huge decision.
It's a huge decision. Or you could even say, why India? Why not other places? So this happened. So I left my job in 2019 at the end. And I focused on the workshop, and that's how I guess I met you. And but I think you also came to the workshop, but you had come to the event also, no? DYG event.
We've always come to the event.
Okay. So I left my job.
Famous Dinesh doesn't remember us in the.
We are just like mediocre for him, not good enough.
No, because you came to
We're not making our guests look good here.
Because you came to too many events. I don't remember which one you came
to. Save yourself.
So, yes. I left my job to focus on the workshop. And I was like, yes, this is it. I had all planned out. I'm going to do this, X, Y, Z. But life doesn't always work like that. And then pandemic hits. All of a sudden, my plan... I had to hold all my workshop, my plan, and it's just like a mess. And because I wasn't working, I wasn't getting any like financial support from the government as well. So I was like, kind of like, okay, this sucks. So things happen. I think this pandemic kind of brought out a different side. I saw a different side to the world, and especially the human beings. I saw a different side to human beings, and it's not a positive, thing. I've always been an optimistic person, but for the first time, I thought like, if this continues, the future is going to be very disastrous. That's what I was thinking.
It did show that men are for themselves, to look at the negative side, right?
So yeah, and then I was going through a lot of inner, I guess, conflicts with myself, like what is going on, what do I really want to do, and all that. And also I came, I've had some realization as well. I've always had this realization, but during that time it was more intense. And that is like I'm nowhere in control of my thoughts, my emotions. I'm being very reactive to everything, the outside situation. Rather than me being in control, like I'm like the slaves to my mind. I'm like
literally like a sponge absorbing everything. That's how I felt.
Did you feel the unbalance again?
Yeah. And I was like, what is this? Like, my unconscious habits, patterns, compulsion, tendencies, it's ruling me. I'm not the one to, take control. I'm being controlled. I had that kind of feeling. So I knew that in order to make a drastic change, few things had to happen. I needed to change the environment, like a complete change of environment. I needed a complete change of people around me, complete change of energy around me. So I wasn't necessarily looking, but I was thinking maybe if this happened, then I could maybe work on myself, more effectively. And so, but as you said, Sadhguru, Isha Foundation, I've been following Sadhguru for a long time, and I have one of his app called Sadhguru app. There you have you get daily quotes.
Sadhguru has an app?
Yeah, you should download it. You get daily quotes, audios, videos, and all sort of things. Free guided meditation, like different things. And so I had the app, and then on top of the app, there was this promotion, like 7-month residential program. I was like, that sounds interesting. So I clicked on it, and then the first thing I thought was, how much does it cost? Because I didn't have a lot of money. I was like, I read through the description, and I went all the way down to the fee section, and it says free. Food is provided.
Law of attraction.
Accommodation is provided. I was like, oh my God, this is it. But I had this hesitation. Oh, I'm a married man. I can't just leave my wife, my family.
And responsibility.
Yeah, and then I kind of rejected the whole idea. I spoke to my sister-in-law Ramuna, and we're all part of the team Hempnath, and she was very supportive. She was like, "Oh, Dai, you should do it. Don't worry about Hempnath. We can handle it." And that kind of gave me some courage. And I spoke to my wife, and I told her what do you think if I go?
I love how he spoke to Ramuna before he spoke.
No.
He had to have a team backed up to go and speak to his wife.
So I didn't.
All men are like, see.
I didn't tell my wife straight away that this is what I want to do. I just in a roundabout way I said, what would you how would you feel if I was away for 7 months? She was like, what do you mean?
That's how Janaki is. What do you mean?
Yeah. And so I told her about this program. I told her this is the program, it's free and this and that, and I get to do this, and I think I kind of feel like I need this. This will have a long lasting impact in me, and this will not just affect me, it will affect the way I am. It will affect the people around me, my family, everything, the future. So this is I think, a very good investment of time and energy. And she thought about it, and she came back to me, I think, a day or two later. So I'm okay, I'll be okay, And so, that's how it started. And then that gave me some hope and courage to apply. I applied, and it was a long process actually, going through the interviews, the application.
You had to go for interviews?
Application, health questionnaire and all that. And it was a intense process. And again, going through the whole visa application, I had to do 4 COVID tests to get to ashram, the yoga center.
Understandable.
Yeah. At that time.
So that's how it started, basically, to answer your question.
Yeah.
And why India? India, is one of the oldest, not just India, the whole Indian subcontinent, including Nepal, India, like, it's one of the oldest. It's one of the oldest civilization out there.
Yeah.
All the other civilization has kind of basically gone extinct, kind of. But this is the only culture that is still intact, and the spiritual, the spiritual culture, the spiritual lifestyle has been passed down from generation to generation over the last 10, 15,000 years. It's that long. So I always felt like India is spiritually like the spiritual hub of the world, basically.
Yeah.
And then obviously, why Sadhana Pada? Because I've been following. Why Isha Foundation? Because I've been following Sadhguru, and I kind of connected with his, ideas, with his words, with his wisdom. He's very logical. If you watch his videos, he's very, what he says, it makes sense. So, yeah, kind of feel like this is it. This law of attraction, whatever you want to call it.
Probably felt like the right time to go as well.
Yeah.
So, like, of course, you were gone for 7 months. I attended Dinesh Dai's pandemic workshop. So I was one of the first pandemic workshop attendees. And I think what led me to that workshop was the massive dip that I had in my life then. So I was like, I want to change myself, my energy around me, but it's pandemic, I can't do much about it. Let me just meet few people who are on the same boat, kind of way. And then Dinesh Dai said to us, not then, like when we had a one-to-one conversation, he was like, oh, by the way, I'm going to India. And I'm like, what? Because we were talking about meditating and stuff like that, and I was like, you actually going? And he said, yeah. And after you went, because I think we met Janaki did it through that. So I was just wondering, like, how did you two keep the relationship going? Because not having a husband for 7 months is quite difficult. Like, I don't know how our parents did it when they were gone in the army, whatever. They didn't even do video calls or whatever. I don't know what the internet, if there was internet in the ashram.
And you don't even know if your husband is alive or dead.
Exactly. So I was just, because obviously you went there to volunteer and everything. We'd see, like, posts about Dinesh Dai time and again, and a few WhatsApp messages, but other than that, like, I was just wondering, because obviously you're devoting so much time and energy in that place, you're volunteering, you're trying to find yourself, but how did you, like, manage to connect with your wife? Was it because obviously there's a massive time difference as well, so was it, I don't know,
was it
I
difficult?
just want to know.
I think that was before you answered that, right up to when you were, starting to pack and starting to, I guess, get ready to go there. I was speaking to Janaki, obviously your wife, and I was like, obviously I know you, but I also knew Janaki before I knew you. And I was asking Janaki, I was like, how do you feel about this? So they came with Janaki, and then Janaki said to me, sometimes I feel like, why is he going? But then you have two minds. Like sometimes I feel like, oh, why does he have to go? But then another time I completely understand why he's going. But I think she was sort of struggling until the end. Okay, but how was it for you?
Yeah, I mean, it was difficult because obviously I have my personal goals, but we have a couple of goals as well. Let's save some money for a house and this and that kind of thing. And all of that had to stop because of my decision. So I kind of felt bad because, I was the one that
caused it.
I thought I was being selfish in a way. But I had to for a reason. But, I feel like I was being selfish. Yeah, but it was difficult, especially for Janaki, it was difficult because... and she, like you said, she used to say, why are you doing this? And she used to say, why are you doing this now? Why did you do it when you were single? So,
and mind you, she's like this short, little, feisty woman.
But I can't imagine that though, because I don't see Janaki Didi like she'd be the type of person who'd get angry at anyone.
Oh no.
Oh no, she will get angry at me all the time.
Okay. That's where it's thrown.
And the normally she would accompany me for like interviews like this.
Yeah.
She didn't come. She said, "I don't want to come because if I'm there, you may say something else because."
Yeah, you want the truth.
Now she's gonna listen to this and prove what is Janaki today.
Exactly. Not gonna lie, I was expecting Janaki to tag along.
Right. So yeah, that was the question.
So how was it for you? Like, how difficult was it for you?
How did you connect?
It was difficult, especially when we were partying in the airport, or the day before. That was the most. I think that was the toughest bit.
That is tough.
That's the toughest bit. But once we're apart, once I was in India, I think it was okay. We connected straight away on the phone. I had some trouble with getting the internet on my phone.
Yeah.
So it took some time, but yeah, we connected, and then I think every week we used to connect a few times a week. So that kept us going.
On the loop, yeah.
On the loop. But yeah, it was. I could tell that it was difficult for her, especially. Yeah.
Because you're going away, you're having your own ventures, where she's just left it. When is it coming home?
Yeah.
I mean, she does know, but you can't help but miss your partner, right?
I mean, in a good way, I think it was good that you went around the time where nothing much was happening around here, and nothing much was happening around people's life, because everything was just halted by this pandemic. I think if she was going out, if she was going to dinners with friends, if she was going to social life and all that, I think she would have missed you more. But at that time, I'm pretty sure everybody who was working that time, we would have been work home. I think that was basically her life, But she has got a good support system at home. Her sisters are quite strong support out there.
They're very, very close, very connected.
I mean, their sisters support you as you go to before you go to her. So I'm pretty sure.
I love how there is an ally before. It's okay, we're going to confess to Janaki. Back me up.
They say if you want to conquer a country, you need to befriend
the
country surrounding that country. So
Very
that's
true.
the story.
Oh, that's a good strategy there.
I like how you think.
Have you heard this story of Prithvinarayan sir?
Yes. Actually, that really inspires me, Prithvinarayan sir.
You've heard that story?
What I think I might have, but I think
how he got the idea about to not just unify Nepal, but how to go about it. So when he was attacking, I think Kirtipur, or I don't know, they failed a few times, and then when I think one of the houses he was eating, he was eating, and obviously the food was hot. So he was he plunged his hand. It was hot, and I think the old lady said, You need to start from the side and then you slowly go towards the center.
Oh,
So
this reminds me. Yeah.
So he encountered. Didn't you take over Bhaktapur and all that?
Yeah, something like that.
And then Kathmandu.
Well, you know what it's like fate. Exact time, exact moment, the right moment, right time, right happenings.
You meet people in weird sort of ways where you don't intend to meet, and then they leave you a big impact in your life forever. Yeah. It's quite.
So now let's go into what happened out there. What was your experience like?
Spill some tea.
Yeah. What's it like to spend 9 months? Because you originally went for 7, but then you extended to 9, didn't you?
No, it wasn't extended. It was for 7 months. Because of COVID, I had to get there early for quarantine period and all that.
Yeah.
Because of that, mainly.
Oh, okay.
So what was it like in the faraway land, mysterious land?
First impression.
Yeah. I was blown away by the size of the ashram. It was
was it huge?
It was huge. Imagine Camberley town.
So that's the ashram.
No, Camberley town. It's I think at least 6 times larger than Camberley.
Was it because I imagine it to be my imagination is quite weird, when Gautam Buddha was meditating and all that, and I imagine it to be banyan trees all over the place, right? So when you're describing the ashram like Camberley Town, big one, I imagine it to be trees around, small little huts where you'd stay. Was it like that?
Where are you coming from?
I'm just trying to get visual.
I think that's the movie because of
I know,
serials you've watched.
True, yeah.
Like Mahabharata, all those Ramayana.
Yeah.
There were some huts, but it was like mainly most of them was modern buildings.
Okay.
But there were trees, lots of trees. In fact, the center was based right at the foothills of the Velingiri mountain, and it's a hill. So like everywhere you look, like there are big hills. It's like Kathmandu, surrounded by hills. Valleys, yeah. So right at the foothill, it was like a forest. Lots of coconut trees. Mainly coconut trees. I guess some banana trees and other trees. But it was the way that it was created was like just genius, It was like the perfect combination of human settlement and nature. It's like trees, flowers.
Yeah.
It's really good. And the buildings and everything is designed with the, like in Kathmandu, like it was like
everything was planned. Did they use like sustainable products, like recycled timber or whatever?
All the time. They use that all the time. Even like the toilet the waste, toilet waste. They recycle that. They use in the farm. Everything.
So very little to no waste.
Plus, like very sustainable. In their own ways.
Even the fence, like we mainly use wood or like metal, and there they use the wooden sticks. And like maybe some wires, but they mainly use to cover the fence. They use banana leaves.
That is so cool. Did you like eat in banana leaves?
Yes, we did eat.
So that was your plate?
Not every day. But on special occasions we eat. So banana leaves means special food.
Yeah.
So we got like many varieties of food, like sweets, like jalebi, whatnot. So
because I remember, because my parents, my family background, we're quite religious, right? So when we have anything like big events, pujas or whatever, we always eat on a banana leaf, or like like Nepal matapare type of. Because granddad used to say that's the purest form from where you can eat. So we used to do that. So I was just wondering.
So we used to eat not in toppery, but in like a
flat banana leaf. Yeah, I've eaten I think once or twice.
What was food like? Everything's vegetarian, right?
Everything is vegetarian. Everything is organic, locally sourced.
A lot of coconut dishes.
I think not all of them, but pretty much. I think more. I wouldn't say most, but like half of it was homegrown, as in like it was grown inside the ashram.
So very almost self-sufficient.
Yeah. Some foods they brought it from outside, but some they.
So because you said there's a lot of coconut trees, this is like me.
A lot of
did you have like a lot of coconut
water,
like coconut water or coconut like chutney?
Yeah, so coconut was incorporated in most foods, like in a chutney, in curry, in sweets and everything. But we didn't necessarily get like a coconut water and all that. For fruits, we had like seasonal. There is after the season. So when I went there, we mainly got papaya, mango. It was a mango station, so lush mango, papaya, mango, bananas, guava. So and we started. I think after the mango season went away, we had oranges and watermelon.
More towards the colder season.
That's the good thing, right? Because if you eat what's in season,
it's good for your system.
Stops you. Yeah, it's good for your system, but it also stops you importing things that are not in season, get from faraway places, and then that reduces your carbon footprint. Plus, I think nature gives you everything that you need to survive on. No?
Definitely. And the mangoes in India, oh my god, they're lush. The green mangoes.
The bananas. The best bananas I've had.
Actually, I'm gonna have to agree on that one.
It's like a tiny banana.
I love tiny bananas.
Sweet as well.
So sweet.
So sweet.
Aren't they called like ice cream bananas?
Is it?
I think they're called ice cream bananas.
I don't know. And
because they're creamy.
Did you get the small apple?
Not
chocolate apple ones.
Not the small apple.
I guess it wasn't on the season, but it's like it's almost like a size of a nectarine, but it's an apple.
You can tell she's a foodie when the conversation of food comes in and she perks up.
No, because like you're going to another country for 7 months. You're eating the foods you're not normally eating, right? Although our food palette is a bit similar, we think it's a lot similar. But when I traveled to India, it was different. Like, I thought I could survive, but I could not survive on paratha every morning.
What?
That was too much for me. Did you have that problem?
No, I didn't have that problem. Paratha was not every day. It was like, once or twice.
Banana leaf day.
But I was so amazed by the variety of food. I thought, when you go away in a place like ashram, you would get very simple, like minimal food.
Yeah.
But their food was like, it was like in a hotel or restaurant. You had variety of food. Variety of what do you call it? Rice or cereals or different variety like millets or like very popular millets. If millets have so much nutrients compared to rice and other things. And different kinds of millets. Different types of millets over there. We used to get that also.
They do corn go as well, didn't they? Like only more textured as well. But it's like simple foods but delicious food, I guess.
Yeah. So, and on top of that, vegetarian, like that's just dream, no?
Honestly, like I didn't really miss eating meat when I was in India. The food is just lavish.
Yeah.
But I'm just thinking, how big is this ashram?
Oh my god.
Yeah, it's quite huge. I think it's about 400 acres.
Did you like make a whole round?
Yeah. Not straight away, but it took me some time. By the end of 9 months, I kind of visited
pretty much every corner.
How many people were there at one point?
So during lockdown, so it's a rough estimation. I don't know exact. So we had anywhere between 2,000 to 4,000, 3,000, 4,000 people during the lockdown. And after the lockdown opened, over 5,000 people.
Oh my god.
So what was your routine like? Like what time did you wake up? What time did you go to bed? What did you do? Like how often did you meditate? And what was the voluntary part? And did you have time for yourself within the whole thing? Okay, it's a lot of questions.
No. I was gonna go there anyway because that's the interesting bit, right?
Yeah.
So I kind of knew what to expect because during the interview, the man told me like it's gonna be pretty intense. You're gonna be doing a lot of work, a lot of sadhana, which is the spiritual practice. And I was like, fine, I'm ready for anything. Give it to me, baby. Something like that. In my head, though. No, I didn't tell him. So, wake up time, 4:30. They will start.
Understandable.
They will 4:30. They will. So when I first went there, because they were building 2 blocks of building, one for ladies, one for gents. When we first went there, it wasn't completed. So our accommodation was in a hall. So there were some lockers in the room, but the sleeping area was the hall. And because obviously there were rooms, where we could sleep in the bed, but because of the COVID, we had to keep some social distancing. So we all slept in the hall. The hall was massive. So we all slept there, and it was like really cool. By the way, the hall was really cool. Fresh air coming in and going. It wasn't like a covered.
In the hot weather.
Yeah.
So so 4:30 they would come with a drum, dum dum, like dum dum, something like that. And I think later they changed it. I think the drum wasn't effective enough. People were still waking up. They would open
body adapts, right?
they would open their eyes and they would go back to sleep. So drum wasn't enough. So they started using music, the speaker.
Okay.
So they would play a chant in the morning.
Like a bhajan. Yeah.
Something like that. They would play a chant and they will turn all the lights on. So it would be like, all of a sudden you have this bright light. It's like, and then they would boom, loud music. And even so they will give us some time, like by 4:45 or 5, if we haven't woken up, they would actually, obviously by then like 90% of the people have already woken up. And then people would come and they would just tap on you like, wake up, something like that, or they'll just do this, wake up, because they don't want to shout, So one of the things about the spiritual culture is like they're very sensitive to things. They don't want to go, hey, wake up, like in the army. in the army, they'll just beat you up, But they're very sensitive. They don't want to wake you up in a very forceful way. So they'll just normally tap you or in the ear, and they're like, oh, okay, time to wake.
Knowing you'd fall asleep in that too.
I think I would fall asleep knowing that there's a drum right next to me and I'm like dancing in my head in my dream.
So that answers your first question. Second question. Okay, the meditation part. So we have between 5:30. That's when so we start with something called Guru Puja. It's a ritual to. It's not puja in a sense that we go in a temple and do pray God. Not that. Puja in a sense, Guru Puja in a sense that we are thankful for the past masters who've helped us.
Okay.
It could be anyone from Buddha and Jesus, every enlightened masters. We just pay our gratitude, and also the system that Guru Puja ritual is it's done in such a delicate way. Sadhguru says the puja is an invitation to divine. So you're creating an energy that is more, more effective or more helpful or supportive for the practices of yoga and meditation. He says if you do meditation after that puja, you're much more likely to be in a much better mood. Yeah. So after the Guru Puja, we'll start out yoga, meditation, whatever. So from 5:30, 6:30, 7:30, 8:30, depending on person to person, we can depending on what time our work starts, we can do our meditation yoga until 9, 10, even 11. So for 5 hours.
Oh, morning, right? Not in the evening?
No, 5 hours in the morning and 2 hours in the evening.
Oh, okay.
So would you eat after the meditation or?
After the meditation, we would eat. So the lunch will start.
I love how my life is revolved around food, but it's important.
While holding a bowl of falafel, she's asking, what time would you get to eat?
So lunch or brunch, as we call it, starts from 10 to 12.
Okay.
10 to 12. And here's the interesting bit. So there's a gap. So you have to enter the hall between 9:51 to 9:50. You have 7 minutes to enter the hall. If you miss that time gap, they'll lock the door and you'll wait for the second batch, which starts 45 minutes after.
Oh my God!
Okay.
So,
why that time slot?
Motion control.
Not
This one is making something else that Isha found.
This is not weight loss camp.
Sign me up.
Although you do tend to lose weight.
Yeah.
Without you knowing it.
Is it like batches, I guess?
Yeah, batches. It's just to, there are a lot of people. So you can't feed everyone at once.
Yeah.
And also it's to create structure and discipline. So imagine you already sat for, you're eating and someone else enters the room and then they disturb you. So because we eat in silence, we don't talk to anyone. So we eat in silence. And if people are going in and out, that creates disturbance, right?
Yeah.
So there is a batch. And so what I learned from my time there is what you eat, not just what you eat, but how you eat is so important. Do you know that water has memory? Do you know that? There's been so many research and so if you put a water and let's say two jars you put water and on point at your jar, let's say face kar you just negative statement I hate you, whatever, and this you say I love you and whatever. And after a few days, if you do that continuously, and if you were to examine the molecular structure of the water, you'll be completely different. One would be very perfect, balanced, geometrically aligned. Other one would be very like that.
Oh my God.
So water has memory. So not just water, but everything has memory. Even the food has memory. So
why it tastes different to some people to other people then? Because some people are just I don't like this, without even trying it. So if you're going to put your mindset that you don't like it, then obviously you're not going to like it. Not open to ideas. But that's my thought process anyway.
You are the juiciest grape juice I've drunk.
Yeah, that helps. So if you have a food in front of you and you're very unconscious, you're you're just talking to someone, you're watching TV and just you're not even paying to the food that you're eating, then that's going to act different to your system. Compare that to if you sit silently, and you know, obviously we do some invocation before we eat, and if you're thankful, grateful, and if you're very conscious and you're eating slowly, then that will react differently to your system when it goes inside you.
I've heard of that before, because I had this habit of whenever I sat down to eat, I would play something on my phone in front of me, right? And then I think I saw a video or somewhere where it said that if you do that, then you're not concentrating on your food. Yeah. So when you eat something, when you do something for your health, you should wholly concentrating on it. So I stopped that habit. Sometimes I still do it, but I stopped that habit, and I feel like I eat much better. I feel like the food taste is nicer, and I guess I like have more focus on what I eat and what I don't eat. I think it's.
I honestly prefer now.
Yeah.
Like as for now, eating alone, because I can control what I'm eating.
Yeah.
But when you eat as a social thing,
you just
you lose it.
Yeah.
I binge. You know, if I'm eating with my family and then they carry on starting to eat, and then you usually have a conversation. That's a typical normal thing, like when you're eating with family, right? And you're done eating, but they go for seconds, and you think, oh, I need to go for seconds too.
Yeah.
So you just have that no coordination.
You eat
there.
more, right? Yeah. You eat more, and you lose count of what you've eaten.
And then later on, you're just bloated and just oh, why did I eat that?
Not feeling good. Yeah. But I think I understand where you said where you have to, when you do something, just fully concentrate on that act rather than just being so disruptive in your mind that you're doing 10 things, you're thinking 10 things. I think that goes all down to the foundation of having a dedicated attention and having a dedication.
There's so much to eating food, guys. Like, not just about what you eat, how you eat, but when you put in your mouth, like, how many times you have to chew. Like, you know, I heard, I don't know, from Sadhguru or something, like minimum 20 to 25 times, something like that. Because you know that half of the digestion happens in our mouth. There's some sort of chemicals in our mouth that helps digest the food. And when it goes inside, it will digest much more easily compared to if you just like gulp it down.
Sorry, I was looking at my boyfriend because he inhales food, and then the fact that
enzymes in your mouth.
But the thing
it
is,
breaks down the proteins and the carbs.
I think I've also heard that if you chew and take more time to chew and eat, then it takes longer for you to eat, right? And you know how full you've become. Like if you keep inhaling things, you don't know how full you are, or you don't know when you should stop eating. Like I think that's when you realize, okay, I'm 80% full. I should not be eating anymore because my body doesn't need it anymore. After that point, I'm just abusing my body. I see it that way.
So Sadhguru says you don't eat full.
Yeah.
Leave 1/3 space
for dessert.
Yeah. No.
I got you.
I feel you, brother. Sadhguru, please don't come at me.
Including dessert.
Oh god. No, but
Dios would say 2/3 is appetizer, and then that's the main course.
Yeah. And then there's another stomach that just turns around to take place.
No, but please enlighten me. Why is that?
I don't know the exact reason why. I guess my assumption is that if you're like fully full, then your digestive system has to work harder in order to digest those food. But if you leave some space, it's easier to digest. Also, like we do fasting twice a month in the ashram during Ekadasi. Ekadasi happens 11 days after full moon and 11 days after the
my mom
new
does
moon.
that as well.
So we fast twice because imagine we take our car for servicing, right? Like once a year. Some people do twice a year. Why? Because you have to maintain it. You have to like reservice. So our body is no different. Our body is a machine. In if you like, just like everyone, it's a machine done, body. So we have to service our body, and the best way to service is fasting, because when you're fasting, your digestive system gets some rest.
Is that a reset?
Yeah, reset also, and also it kind of helps detox the body too, in a way.
So what would like your Ekadasi fast be like? Because my mom does that. So she doesn't eat any grains that day. So obviously she has roti, but that's only one meal a day in the evening. But throughout the days, she pretty much doesn't eat anything at all.
Yes. So we do 24-hour fasting. So if we were to eat dinner now at let's say 7 or 8, then we would eat dinner the next day 7 or 8. So 24.
That's pretty much what she does as well.
And we can't eat food, but we can eat few things. For example, like lemon water. If you're starting out initially and it's difficult for you, you can eat honey water. You can even eat nuts.
Dried nuts.
Not dried nuts. Soaked nuts. You have to soak the nuts overnight, and then you eat it. I don't know if this is 100% true, but I think I heard, like kati manche like the allergy हुन्छ नि nuts allergy. If you were to soak it and eat it, then it's less likely to cause those allergies because it takes away those chemical toxins or whatever. So it's soaked groundnuts is very popular in our ashram. It's one of the must have food.
Was it on a daily diet?
On a daily diet.
Because like my grandma, she used to always soak almonds and take the skin off, and then she used to give that to us when we were younger.
Yeah,
so there's a lot of thing to it. But coming back to you only eating 1/3, right? So this is my analogy after the whole humorous moment we had.
Leaving 1/3.
Yep. So
Leaving
1/3 empty.
1/3. So eating 2/3.
Yeah, eating 2/3. It's probably like a washing machine. So if you load your washing machine too much, it's not gonna get clean. So when you leave like a bit of space, then it properly.
Yeah, that's a good analogy.
So that's probably what the digestive system is doing.
That's the thing. Right?
That's better than the dessert.
You have room for dessert.
That's the thing, right? Whenever we drive our cars, we make sure that it's regularly taken care of.
Yeah.
And I think that's the same thing that should be with our body. I mean, I'm not the best person to say because I do put so much shit through my body now I'm on a health journey, so I'm a bit better. But before I used to do that. But it completely makes sense how your body is a machine, and if you don't take care of it, breaks down. Exactly. Yeah.
And don't overload it as well.
Yeah.
Because I think I had trouble with binge eating.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm trying not to eat as much right now. Like binge eating in social events, binge eating watching TV. So
I feel like not only with food but also with mental energy and the thoughts that you put into your body, they're all you're all feeding it, Nita.
Yeah.
Right. So I think it's quite important what you eat, but also the non-physical things, like intangible things, like your feelings, your thoughts, your vibes. Yeah.
I'm very new to meditation. So this is like what I've been trying to practice. I went on last year. I tried waking up at 6 every morning to watch the sunrise every single day, and let's be honest, when the winter came, the sun came a bit
too early for you.
I'm just like, it's a bit too much. So that streak went. But I used to meditate with the sunrise, but now I'm doing guided meditations, and when they're like breathe, listen to what you've got around you, and there's so much white noise that you don't think you have. Like even your breathing as well. Like I never realized when I breathe out, it was hot air, but when you cool, the sensations around your nose, nostrils, and all the nose hairs, you can feel it if you concentrate hard enough.
You can feel the cold
that
air.
was like wow,
groundbreaking,
so
right?
long.
Like it's,
and I think it shook me when I started feeling the air around my nose hair again. It's like I don't know how to describe it. It's like fluttering away, and
it's a different sensation, and it's a new sensation that you never felt, but it was always there. I think that's the shocking part.
It's so much. I don't know. You just hear everything: the clock ticking, leaves like rustling, and literally someone just doing this downstairs. You can hear it like amplified, everything.
Oh my god!
It's actually quite amazing.
I've never meditated, but I can understand what that feels like.
I think meditation is a reset to my brain. Like, you know how you fast, like you said, for your body. But when I meditate, reset bandapani, it's more like I don't know how to describe it. I don't think I have words to describe it, to be fair. But I think everyone should incorporate that in their daily life. I do 10 minutes guided. That's how my attention span is at the minute.
What app do you use?
I don't use the app. I literally just YouTube it. But I might download Sadhguru's app now. To see how it is. Because I'm like exploring right now, right? But I do the bunny when they chant the
Om chanting.
So but then obviously I don't say it. They chant it and then you kind of like breathe through it. But I might try that.
Interesting. Ani, for you guys, like how many days and how many hours a day do you guys meditate when you're there?
So like I said, our sadhana time or the spiritual practice time is like can go from 5:30 to 10, even 11 until lunch.
And then
2 hours in the evening.
Okay.
So yoga, meditation, like basically yoga, meditation, they're all kind of same thing in the way.
Interconnected.
I just want to clarify a few things, because when we say yoga, when you say meditation, people think like, okay, someone is there with the eyes closed, and when we say yoga, they think we're like doing some stretching.
Poses,
That's not necessarily true. Yoga, meditation actually is part of yoga. So yoga literally means union. So you're one with, the creation, basically.
Body.
The creator and the creation is one. Your masculine and feminine is perfectly in balance. So everything is one. That's what yoga means. But there are different systems of yoga, you see. And the yoga that we see like people doing in the West is a small aspect under Hatha yoga. Hatha means sun and moon. So it's trying to balance your masculine and feminine energy. So Hatha yoga, or the postures that we do is called yoga asanas. Asana means posture. Yoga asana means yoga posture, basically. So the yoga postures that we do is designed in a way that will try and balance your system, your masculine and feminine energy. And when that's balanced, you are more likely to experience higher state of, higher states, basically, of spirituality.
What's masculine and feminine energy?
Masculine and feminine energy, we all have masculine and feminine energy. It's not referring to gender. It's not male and female. You have masculine and feminine energy. I have masculine and feminine. The trees, the plants, everything has masculine and feminine energy. It just depends like what proportion. Maybe ladies tend to have more feminine energy, less
Not
masculine.
me. I think I am more masculine.
I think you have a lot of feminine energy than you believe to have it.
Oh, yeah.
Because you believe like you're quite masculine in terms of leading on and everything like that, what people would say, right? But then you have the nurturing nature in
The
you.
nurturing nature.
So that's a
different
very
aspect.
feminine energy,
Feminine is more creative, more nurturing, more something. Masculine is more like a conquest. That kind of thing.
My proportion is probably, sorry to say, but effed up then.
No, but that's what you believe in, right? But how society makes you think what feminine people should look like and should behave. But you never really had the connection within yourself to actually break down yourself.
I feel like I have a huge amount of both. I think I need to tone down a little bit now.
That's nothing wrong with it though.
No. I think, yes, obviously females, they have more feminine energy compared to masculine energy. Feminine energy. But, depend, like, the way the society is, I think because of that, there's slight imbalance in that proportion, both in men and female. We're leaning more towards masculine because of the way the society is.
Do you know, this is very interesting because I was going through. I'm really sorry to put it out to you in TikTok videos that a lot of people have been observing the fact that women are being more masculine these days. They suddenly have to feel like they need to step up and beyond to prove themselves that this whole girl boss, strong, independent woman, the streak that we've been going on, kudos to you, but a lot tend to believe that has created imbalance in the whole system because women are made to be a woman, but when they suddenly took on this whole rupture.
You know what I feel like? I feel like this world is too much masculine energy. And I feel like because we're so used to that way of living life, when female are trying to balance it and going through equality, then we feel like, oh, feminine energy is taking over, when it should have been that way in the first place. I think there will always be people who be like, oh, you guys, obviously males and females, they both have their own roles in society. So, but what I think they're so opposed to is that male should have this role, female should have this role. Okay, why can't we go back and forth between them? Okay, I think people are so hard. People struggle to accept the fact that people can do both masculine and feminine roles. But I think some people are just struggling because they're so used to, conditioned to being a masculine dominated energy world.
Right.
And that's I think, that I believe that's my thought.
So we live in a patriarchal society where masculine energy, or men are considered to be more important
superior,
in society. Superior.
That's why the world is imbalanced.
That's why the world is about to get destroyed, basically. So we're kind of destroying ourselves. And even Sadhguru says we need more feminine energy. So we are, lacking that.
But there is no welcome to it, though.
Did you know that there used to be so many, Devi. Devi is the epitome of feminine energy. There used to be so many Devi temples all around the world. But at some point, because of all this religion coming up, they started destroying all the Devi temples because they didn't want the feminine, the deity or the feminine god to rise.
No, it's very true, because there is a lot of Shiva bhaktas, like people, Shiva's disciples, or people who follow Shiva, right? Than people who follow Devi. Everyone that I know on Monday, because I have a religious background, they fast for Shiva, their husband, whatever. But no one really takes upon Devi. I think my mom's the only one who actually does it. And Devi's temples are always not as packed as Shiva's temples. If you go on Shivratri in Pashupatinath, that is a trip.
In the ashram, we have both the Devi temple and we have the Dhanalinga where we meditate. So what you said is true, but Shiva also has two sides. Shiva is considered the perfect balance between masculine and feminine energy. When I say feminine energy has been suppressed, it's mainly in the West and in some parts maybe in the East as well. But predominantly in the south of India, it hasn't been suppressed that much. It's Devi temple is very actually every village you go to, Sadhguru says every village you go to, you will find a Devi temple there. And did you know in the Native American culture, it used to be a matriarchic society. So we get surnames from the father. They used to get surname from the mother. So mother used to be the head of the family in the Native Americans. And that's how they were able to sustain their culture and their lifestyle for so long, because they are all about living in harmony with the nature. They never, the soil that they, the land that they grew up in, they think they're part of them. And so it was very harmonious culture, but after the European came, and then all of a sudden they destroyed everything.
That's why it's called Mother Nature, not Father Nature.
Yes, but I actually believe not taking a surname is actually not having your own surnames. The kids choose to have their own. I think, correct me if I'm wrong, but in Tibetan culture they don't really have surnames, so you have two names instead. So, because obviously I went to a Tibetan school and I thought that was a quite cool idea. They used to have surname, but the surnames were made so that they could stay for legal reasons, because they're obviously from the refugee background, whatever, right? So they'd have two different names, but not really have a surname. And I think that's pretty cool. Why can't you just have Dinesh, or Merisha something, but not Merisha Guru?
In some culture, they pronounce the surname first and then the
in
first
Korean,
and second. In Japan as well.
It's quite interesting.
But nowadays, I'm seeing in Facebook, people have, let's say, if you have two surnames, so my mother and father, they put both. Like
Both.
Oh, no. Mine's the same.
Oh,
My
you're the
dad's Tajali, my mom's Pun. So
Pun.
I've got Tajali Pun as my
Okay.
legal name, yeah.
Or you find positive, A positive, or B positive something.
I don't know about that.
No hint
Your
here.
friend has
There was A positive.
there was A
Oh,
positive.
he's got
Yeah,
Oh.
yeah.
Are you actually A positive? Okay.
I wouldn't want to do that because I'm B negative, so I don't want to send it all messages.
I'm an A B plus.
So to answer your third question, because we're going off topic.
Yeah, we
as
do that quite a
always.
lot.
Because we are not aligned. We are not aligned with ourselves. We need to go to Sadhguru's ashram.
So
Yes, third question.
Curious mind.
so after we've done the wake up, the practice, the yoga, meditation, the food, and then after lunch we normally go to we call it seva.
Okay.
Or
Service basically.
service,
Yeah.
basically volunteering activity, and seva is a huge part of the program that I do. Actually, I didn't tell you guys, the program that we are doing is called Sadhana Pada. It's a 7-month program. Sadhana means two, so sadhana literally means two. So in spiritual culture, everything is seen as two. Your yoga, your meditation,
Two as in number 2 or 2 as in to give?
tool, TOOL, device.
Okay,
So
okay.
everything is seen as tool.
Okay.
Even God and deity is seen as tool. They're seen as a stepping stone, rather than, like we have this idea that I'm praying to God so that I can go to heaven, or I'm praying to God so that I can be with Him, something like that.
Sadhguru wants to destroy the idea of heaven, isn't it?
Exactly. So what? Not just Sadhguru, the ancient yogic culture or the yogic science is all about using everything as a stepping stone, as a tool to your liberation, enlightenment, moksha, mukti, whatever you want to call it, nirvana. So that is the main aim, not going to heaven.
Yeah.
Because the whole concept is even like ridiculous. So the heaven and hell is here. We can create hell out of this world, or we can create heaven, or even in our own minds.
In your own mind,
we can be in heaven and we can feel like hell in our head. Or we can be in hell and we can be in heaven
in a different content piece. Yeah.
I think isn't Gautam Buddha who said, "I'd rather be in hell than in heaven." He said, because for him, whatever happens outside doesn't really affect him.
That's the level of meditation I want to reach. When you're meditating and everything else, there could be a war happening, but you're still so content with yourself and your thoughts that nothing's really affecting you. It's just you.
That's the ultimate goal.
That's
for
the
everyone,
ultimate goal.
I think that's quite important, I think, because especially when we are in social media, and obviously our YouTube has crossed a milestone now, we're starting to get hate comments. Comments from people that are very petty, that are not supportive, and no matter how much you say it doesn't affect you, but it sort of at first does. Okay? And we even discussed about responding this way, that way, but then we thought, you know what, let's just leave it, because not worth your time.
I can totally relate. When we were first doing
DYG.
not the DYG, we used to do interview.
Yes.
And we obviously at the time there was not many shows like Nepali show, comedy and like it was this. Our upload got in, then Boldi Palto said, okay, how many videos was, how many likes, and then hey, someone disliked. There's one dislike. Who the hell is this person? And then we realized in the next few videos there was always one dislike, and we think this must be the same exact guy.
Yeah.
You woke up and chose violence.
It's like, okay, I'm gonna go after these guys. So okay, they've uploaded dislike. But yeah.
But you can't really control what their preferences are. You can only be who you want to be, and it's completely okay if they don't want to accept the way you are. It's their choice, right? Because it's your journey at the end of the day.
And it's like, you know how it's obvious, right? You be what you want to be, like whether people like you or not. It's so obvious, okay? That putting that into practice, if I were to be completely honest, putting that in practice is so much harder, right? And there will be days when I think about, why did that person write that? Like, does he not have anything? But then there's also this other strong mind that comes to you and be like, let it go. But there will always be that conflict, okay, for me at this point.
Not just for you, but everyone, I guess, because it's not easy to completely get over your old habits, compulsion, tendencies, because it's so deeply ingrained that it's gonna take so much effort just to try and get rid of that. That's why the whole concept of yoga, why it's come is because everything is in cycle. You know what cycle is, like a cyclical. So if you look at the universe, it's going in cycle. I mean, if you look at
we are on a cycle now. She was in a YouTube channel.
Yeah, that's also another cycle.
Yeah. Another cycle.
So there's solar cycle, and there's lunar cycle. There's if the Earth rotates, it's a day. Like if it rotates around the sun, it's a year. So everything is cyclical, and even like women go menstruation cycle, and so it's based on lunar cycle. Everything is cyclical. Our birth date is a cycle. Even the whole ecosystem is cycle. So everything is cyclical. Anything that's physical in nature is cyclical, and anything that is cyclical has some compulsion. It has got unconscious tendencies because we are run by those karmas. But the whole aim of yoga is to help get people out of the cycle. That's why it's called liberation. The whole physical world is called samsara, and if you come out of the cycle, you become enlightened, whatever, that's called moksha, mukti, because you are freed from the physical nature. And your body, your mind, your emotion, your energy, everything is physical in nature. And when you come out, you become free of that.
So deep.
No, it's this whole I'm very new to this whole meditation, and I'm like literally I'd say on the first step of my spiritual journey. And this is actually quite inspirational to me. I'm like, wow, like I'm literally blown away. I don't even think I'm here right now.
Where are you?
No, the fact that you're saying everything is cyclical, it makes me realize, when you always have this, when you're at you've known that I've been depressed and not depressed, depressed and not depressed, and I have these moments where I'm like down and all that. That just reassures me that I am going through a cycle as well, and that's completely normal because everything around me is in a cycle. And when we talked about this, you feel like you've overcome all this, but then one little thing has to happen, and that puts you down back to first base. And why does it happen? We were talking about it now. Why do you feel like you've done so much to overcome this? You've done so much to get out of it. And then one day, just a minor thing just puts you back, sets you back.
But you haven't completely come out of the cycle, you're still in the cycle.
But to understand that is actually very normal and happens all around the world just makes you feel that, okay, it's not that bad,
And I believe,
it's not that bad.
I don't know if I sound really stupid right now, but I believe like everything has a pattern. Like, for example, you just wake up at some time in the morning without even alarm clock, right? Because that's your bodily pattern. I think your mental health has that as well. So it depends. There's a lot of I don't know what that term is, but there's a depression when it's to do with seasons. So people get depressed when it's wintertime because that's what their body is used to it. So they're happier during the summer, and during the winter they're like, okay, time to get depressed now. Not literally, but then
because probably your body has memory.
That's what I mean.
It has memory.
It has body memory.
When she said memory, is like so true. Memory literally rules our life, and memory is what creates cycle. Without memory, let's say, you have a habit of getting depressed, right? If we completely erase your memory, then you wouldn't feel depressed.
I agree that, because you know why? This cycle, this makes so much sense to me right now, because I think I've been trying to really tear my body apart and my habits apart for the past few years. And I've noticed New Year's resolution don't work for me.
I don't think it works for most people.
Like, that's not the time that I like to reset or set goals to myself. Like, it's around April. Like, basically this time is when I'm most productive and when I like to reset my goals. And I've noticed that that's been a cycle for a few years. So this time I'm like the happiest like on my high points.
Yeah.
But comes November, that's when I'm at my lowest. So it's like, it's a pattern.
Because that's when your body remembers that, oh, it's this season, this time, my body remembers my trauma, so it's time. It probably reacts.
Yeah, and
unconsciously.
I was like on a journey, like, why does this happen to me? Like, I'm asking a lot of questions to myself, right? And that's when I came across a podcast. I don't know what it is. If I find it, I'll link it here. But they said about seasonal depressions. It's not just physical seasons, but it's seasons within yourself.
Yeah.
And you create that. So exactly what you said, like memory. So around this time, I'm the most productive. I've got goals that sometimes I may not be able to achieve. And then comes November, then you sort of slow down. And you feel through the entire, few months that you have. And then you're like, okay, new perspective then. It's like a reset almost.
That is
cycle.
So true, because sometimes you're at such a high, you feel like you can bloody conquer the world, and then there's other times when you feel like, okay, everything's going well, everything's perfect at the moment, this is not right. Like, you get scared.
You have the drama syndrome.
This is like, you almost fall in love with the sadness that you don't feel like you deserve it. And you feel like there's this part in you that's so scared that this is not going to last because it has not lasted in the past. The trauma experience,
Yes, and humans, we like turbulences.
Yeah.
Because we like to grow from it.
Addicted
We like
to it.
challenges, right? So when some people, when their life is stagnant, they're like, what's wrong then? So they go on to their partners to create, just dramas. They go into the family, leash out on them.
Boyfriend will so agree to it.
Like,
I think you will agree to this. You will know that I suddenly have this burst of like dramaness in me, and I'll like come to you and be like, such a minor thing that has happened before, but I would not have, पहिला मैले न्यू नखोजेको चिजमा पनि न्यू खोज्छ नि कहिलेकाहीँ. Yeah, exactly. I think he's witness to it.
We all have that. We all have the tendencies. So I think I've let those emotions out wildly before.
Yeah.
But now I'm just like, is it really necessary? Have a rethink to yourself.
Yeah.
By the way, I guess it's Happy New Year for you, April.
Thank you very much. I think I'm a Nepali by heart, that I reset my New Year's in Nepali time.
Yeah.
And obviously I'm a very huge astrological believer. So I believe it's because my birthday is in April as well. So this is why I reset during that time, because that's when my birth is, all these stars align, continents.
Oh my god, I'm loving this. I'm loving
so it's
how we're finding answers within things, eh?
So obviously I don't know, I feel like figuring yourself out, tearing yourself apart is one of the biggest discoveries and the toughest you can ever do.
Yeah.
It's hard. It's crumbling.
It's hard.
You don't like yourself, honestly.
Yeah.
Okay, that was
but
deep.
also you learn to love yourself at the same time.
I'm in the process, but I guess, we're getting there.
We'll all get there. All get there.
Are you making sense of your drama right now?
Yeah, I am.
Do you know what she's going to do now? She's going to blame me on a cycle for everything. She's going to be like, oh, it's just an episode. They were still with it.
Yeah.
You know what is the goal of life? Death.
No, it's true though.
Goal of life is death.
We're all moving towards that, aren't we?
Yeah.
Whether we like it or not.
There was a person, because we're so consumed by social media, especially what we do, right?
Yeah.
A person uploaded a picture and then he said, happy birthday to me, 1 more year closer to death. Okay, as sad as that sound, that's true.
It's true. It's an honest truth.
It's not actually sad. In the yogic science, that is called very wise. They say that you need to remind yourself every moment that you're mortal and that you're not going to live forever.
It's humbling.
Yeah.
It's humbling.
Because once you think you're immortal, you're going to do stupid things.
Yeah.
You think that you're going to live forever, you're going to do silly things. You will waste your time.
It's
this is the thing, right? For me, like, I'm not suicidal or anything before you come at me, right? I'm not suicidal or anything. But I feel like death is one of the best things that can happen to people. Because when you die, you get rid of all this turbulence inside you. you don't have to worry anymore. You don't have to be anything. But yeah, happiness and all that, I don't know what happens after that. No? Death is like, don't you think it's liberating?
No, bro, you got funeral bills after that.
No, but you don't have to worry about it.
You don't have to worry.
Yeah, you don't have to worry about that. But you can also,
Can I say something? There's an invocation or chant that like Sadhguru does before when he's speaking at the event.
Yeah.
It's a long chant, but the first 2 lines is Jananam Sukhadam Maranam Karunam. So what that means is being able to be born is a joy, like being able to like have all of a sudden have this life. To get this life is joy in it. But being able to die is compassion from the creation. Because imagine the greatest torture would be not being able to die. You are sick, you're old, you've got no hands, legs, but you can't die. That is the biggest torture
you live through every day.
So it's a compassion, it's like kindness from creation. Okay, you can die.
Yeah, exactly. No, I'm saying, right, it's not like I'm super unhappy with my life. Whatever shit comes, I'll deal with it. I have that level of trust in it, right? But I'm not scared of death because I feel like I've lived my life to the fullest every day. Okay. And in the past, I would have probably scared thinking there's so many things that I haven't done in life.
Right.
But at this point in life, I'm being completely honest, if I die tomorrow, I'll be like, okay, I had a decent life.
Do you know, right now, I don't think there is space for people like me. More like that's my thoughts right now, because everything is so fast paced. Like everything is in a rush. Like, so people who like to live their life calm,
on the slow lane,
on the slow end,
on the peaceful lane.
I don't think there is any lane anymore.
That's
Obviously,
the thing. You make it your own lane.
No, I have it, but I don't think for people there is these person are just non-existent.
Yeah.
Okay? Like if you're doing going through this spiritual meditation or whatever journey, you have to be on the A top to make a point. Like mediocre, no time for how do you call it? Like mediocre people.
Can I add to that? Can you listen to this, please, Diwas Thapa? Right, we were having this. I told you, Diwas. Can you listen to this? We were talking about this, about how our podcast doesn't have many guests, and you should invite people who are inspirational, who have achieved things to come, and your podcast will be more popular then. And I said to him, right, listen, our podcast is about people who are at that slow lane. We're here because we wanted to we want to create a safe space for people that may not have achieved things, that
like
may
me.
not have
figuring out.
No, we're still in the journey, we're still in the process of figuring it out.
Honestly, it's kind of like Dinesh Dai is like one of my inspirations. Someone I know, and I aspire to be on his spiritual journey on that level. When you went to the whole India going 7 years, when you went
on for 7 years,
I would love to do that.
Janaki would be like,
when you went Banbas, I was quite in an awe. That must have taken so much courage. Because I've been trying to go Vipassana for the last 4 years and always
you should totally
declined
go.
it, right?
You should totally go.
I've always been very hesitant because, to be fair, it's because I have not been in contact with myself, and I understand that why it was needed. So when Dinesh Dai said he is still figuring out, right? I'm just like, okay then. I'm just another student of life. Yeah.
Exactly.
I think we're very fortunate, to be a human, because we could have been anything.
Or, oh my God, imagine if you were a fly, man.
The reason we're fortunate is because every other living beings, except for humans, have a very limited possibility. So they only live, with certain ingrained compulsion. Like they have to eat, they have to reprocreate. That's it. Their life is done. For us, if we eat, then life starts. There's no upper limit.
There's a
huge possibility, but the sad thing is we're not using that possibility to reach higher levels. We're human beings acting like animals right now.
No, it's true. I believe that.
So because even like all this, like I want to become all this. I want to have this business. I want to become a millionaire. I want to have this.
This is that life.
We think that this is civilization, but it's actually survival in a different much grandized form.
Yeah. You've got
because you want to survive better than your neighbor. Oh, he's got this. I'm gonna have this.
So it's like a cycle of comparing yourself to somebody else's success.
It never goes away. You thought you'd get out of Nepal and then not have that, right? But even I think the competition is even more when you're in the Western world. It's just
no. I think it's a worldwide thing. Yeah. What else did you learn from there? What else did you pick up from there that you thought, oh, okay, this was so simple, but it was always there, but I just learned it.
So many things. One is I mentioned briefly there. Everything is seen as a sadhana. Everything is seen as a tool.
Yeah.
Your work, the way you eat, the way you walk, the way you breathe. If you're aware and conscious, whatever you're doing, that is a tool that can take you to a higher levels. Not just what you do, but how you do it. For example, charity. People think like doing charity, giving money, and all that is like a good thing, good karma. Why are you doing it? What is your intention and expectation? If you're doing it to get popular or get some, reputation, afno naam tesma, afno huन्छ
naam in the wall. Yes, I do not get that.
If your expectation is that, then it's not actually a good karma. It might be a bad karma because your intention and expectation is like for your personal gain, right? That's why seva in ashram is so big, is because whoever is there, they're not doing it to gain something. They're doing it for, like, they just put the whole effort, their energy and everything, not to gain anything, just for the greater cause, right?
And although they won't get ever. It's almost like, when you see in some events, you see these people who are coming in, who are like the socialite of the society.
Chief guest.
Chief guest and all that. They come and they are like, oh, can you take a photo of me serving the food? And then, this is a true incident, by the way. We were doing this, event, and we were like working back and forth, right? And then this auntie, who's probably like a wife of somebody in the society, came in and said, oh, can you take a photo of me serving the food? She did that, and then she left after that. And I was like, I'm really sorry, but like, do you not even feel an ounce of guilt or shame doing that?
It's very common than what you think it is. A lot of these so-called social media influencers, actors and actresses, they do that a lot. But to me, I get it. It could be to cause awareness and everything. Because some people do that to cause awareness. Like Dinesh Dai's recent post, like about Save Soil and everything. I believe that because his posts are constantly about it. He's very passionate about it, But if it's a one-off, then are you really invested in it, or you're just doing it for the clout? Especially when it's a reputable charity as well. That's going to look on their social CV.
Exactly.
I guess.
So I had my seva. So when I first went there, I was working in dinings, serving people. I was in kitchen, not necessarily cutting vegetables, but I was in the storeroom where we had to move things, we had to wash vegetables, fruits and everything. It's pretty intense, like the heat and everything. But then afterwards I was sent to office job, so we're much more comfortable, not as much labor. And towards the end, I switched my department. I went to tree care, so we went outside planting trees, looking after trees, watering.
I love that. When you did the whole planting trees, watering trees thing, we used to have a World's Environment Day. I don't know if you know this day.
Okay.
But on that day, what we used to do is we used to clean our classrooms, like sweep the classrooms, clean the blackboards clean, make sure all the blue tacks and everything were out. So basically just maintain cleanliness, right? So we did our classrooms, and people were allocated, like prefects and everyone, and seniors, they would go around the streets.
Water plants.
Yeah. So we used to plant things, like actually mini, whatever plant we could. And I think we did plant few trees. And of course in Nepal and Kathmandu, a lot of trees were chopped down for civilizations. So we used to go to our local areas and then dig and actually plant trees. Not sure if it's still alive, to be fair. I don't know if anyone checked on it, but that was an activity we used to do at least on that day.
Yeah.
And when the whole Save Soil movement that you did on Instagram that happened, I was like, oh, you know what? It actually reminds me of. I think it was a picture of you planting the tree. I was like, I don't remember when the last time I planted the tree.
Yeah.
It was long time ago. Obviously, I planted tree from buying Hempnath's product.
You know, like we plant 3 trees per order. And when I was in the ashram, I planted 3 trees. So I was kind of...
You're contributing still.
Yeah.
You're like, Ramon and Janaki, I'm still doing business.
Yeah, but it's nice to, see that you can actually help grow these trees, and that will affect the next generation. Because that will take some time for the trees to grow.
Definitely.
Yeah. And tell us about this Save Soil campaign. So, Sadhguru, we were listening to Joe Rogan's podcast about Sadhguru talking about this Save Soil and how he said how the soil, at molecular level is degrading, and we would not have the same amount of nutrients in the food that grow out of a degraded soil.
Yeah.
And it was explained in a very simple way, but do you want to elaborate on the Save Soil campaign?
So you've probably heard of global warming, climate change, carbon emission, water scarcity, all kinds of things.
Yeah.
But if you boil down to a single main cause, everything is connected to soil. And the most amazing thing, or not amazing, the most surprising thing is, like if you go to any big convention, right, like UN convention, whatever, they talk about climate change, this and that. No one talks about soil. As if like it's a big elephant in the room, but like no one talks about it. That's why, people like Sadhguru and a lot of scientists, I think maybe they had some meetings and they said we need to do something about it. So Sadhguru said, okay, I'll take the lead. And so that's how it started. Obviously, it started a long time ago, but I won't go to that length. So what Save Soil is basically, we're trying to, when we say save, when we say soil, we don't necessarily connect to it because it's like we think it's just dirt or whatever on the ground. But without this soil, none of us would be here.
Definitely.
Yeah.
So this is how important it is. And so the issue is basically the scientists are saying that we have, the agricultural soil, we only have about the amount of agricultural soil we have left is for the next maybe 50 to 60 years of cultivable, cultivate गर्न मिल्ने खाली soil त्यति बाँकी छ for 60 years. And they're predicting by 2045, so this is 23 years from now, they're saying we'll have 40% less food in the world, and our population would have grown from almost 8 billion, from this to 9 point something billion. Now imagine what would happen during that time. There's going to be so many issues. Forget about like climate change, global warming. We're going to have lack of nutrition because there's 90% less nutrition compared to like 100 years ago. So what our great grandmother or father, तिनीहरूले चाहिँ अब एउटा orangeबाट जति vitamin पाउँछ नि हैन, now we have to get the same amount of vitamin, we have to eat 8 oranges. That is how low the nutrients have gone down because the organic content in the soil has gone down tremendously. And so that's the way. अर्को चाहिँ the worst thing I fear is there's going to be a huge civil unrest, civil wars, famine, hunger. अहिले नै like कति million मान्छेहरु भोकै बसिरहेछ.
I mean, look,
toilet paper, we were fighting over toilet paper and petrol.
We couldn't even take a pandemic hit.
Yeah.
And I'm really sorry, but there are ways to clean yourself than a toilet paper. Why were we fighting over that stuff?
Imagine living in a world or letting your children live in a world where there is like food shortage, civil wars, violence, and there's going to be huge migration from, when the soil is not cultivable, people are not going to stay in that land. They're going to migrate to a place where there are better soils. So everyone will start migrating. There are going to be a lot of fights, wars, and if you look back in the history, this is not the first time. It's repeated so many times. Most of the old civilizations, one of the reasons they went out, they collapsed, is because of famine and all that.
Yeah.
They couldn't sustain food for the population, and that's how they slowly, collapse behind the.
Because food is essential, right? People will kill.
They'll kill.
No.
Imagine if you have food and the person next don't have food. What are they gonna do?
They're
gonna come to your house.
This is the whole zombie apocalypse movies are prepping you for, technically. So obviously, we've found out the importance of soil, right?
Yeah.
How can I, a person living in the UK with a minimum back garden, what can I do to help
contribute?
Growing your own food in the back garden, doing recyclable farming, compost farming.
Composting.
Those are all good ideas, but that is not the long-term solution. That is just short, patchwork just there.
Yeah.
It's not long-term solution. The long-term solution is this. The soil movement is all about getting 3.5 billion people in the world to talk about soil.
Yeah.
And so the 3.5 billion means about 60% electorate, like people who can vote.
Yeah.
Because what we need to do is we need to create a policy that is ingrained in the national policy itself. So Tinule's national policy might say, okay, we need to have minimum 3 to 6% organic content then everyone has to,
comply with
that. They have to create new projects and finance it to make that happen, right?
Yeah.
So that is the long-term solution. Okay. So we need to ingrain the soil policy, right kind of soil policy, into the national policy. We need to have a lot of people supporting the movement. And for people to support that movement, we need to create awareness, because the main problem is people are not aware of it.
Yeah.
And when we talk about, let's say, soil movement, what the hell is that? And I don't even care type of things, because people are not aware of the implication of what might happen in the future.
And it also gets buried down under the multiple awareness campaigns that there are, right?
Plus the oil war, Russian war, pandemic war. To answer your question, what can you do as an individual, right?
Yes.
That was the question.
Yeah, because obviously
Make
I can
noise.
follow, right? I can follow, I can share it on my Instagram, social media. If a person who got hit on the road can get so much reposts, why can't this get it? Okay, that's where I was coming from. It's a positive light that we need. It's not like, carbon emissions, we're doing bad, but no one really is like, how can we fix that then? Everyone's like, go vegan, everything. Is it sustainable though?
And a lot of awareness campaigns have, they make you aware about what's happening, but there's very little noise about what can you as an individual do.
And another thing I've noticed is most of these past campaigns that we've talked about, or movements we've talked about, they're always dismissing some other movement. So it's always like, I want to get ahead of you, so let me step on you and let me bash you, and then
that's how
ahead.
the world has become dog eat dog world. Like pandemic, toilet paper, I need to get more toilet paper than you. Petrol sources, I need to get more petrol reserve than you.
Exactly, there's no space for us slow laners.
I like how you said slow laners.
That's when we come and create it for us.
So of course.
The good thing about the soil movement is it's not against anyone.
Exactly.
So, when soil movement initially was starting, people were saying, what about the fuel company? What about the plastic company? What about, because campaign one, we were always trying to go against someone or something.
That's what I'm trying to say.
Against some corporation. And Sadhguru says, if you go against someone, what will happen eventually is they will use everything they can to go against you. They'll use their power, their resources, their money.
Exactly.
So,
and they have a lot of power, resources, and money to go after.
So, soul movement, if you notice, if you go to the website, we're not trying to bash any companies or any other movements. We're all focusing on, like, we're making people aware that soil is no different. A soil and your body is no different, because your body is soil body.
So you're at your own pace, right? Why did you pause for a minute? So it's like us slow laners in life, basically. We're at our own pace, but we're trying to make a movement and a change as slowly as we can without hurting no sentiments.
Yes.
And it's also because Save Soil campaign is, I think, not about a small particular group of people, right? It's about the whole world and every human being in this world. It affects everyone.
And if there's no soil, you haven't got no life.
Yeah.
You can't rely on seafood. You need it. You need soil to sustain that life as well.
Yeah.
Guys, before the soil movement, like I knew like soil was important in a way because we know like things grows on food grows on soil. But that was about it. But after the soul movement, I literally learned so many new things. I was like, whoa, I was completely blown away, you know. One of the things is, you know how people talk about global warming, climate change, carbon emission. Soil is the number one solution because the biggest CO2 reserve is in soil. So if you leave the soil open, you'll have the CO2 coming out of the soil into the atmosphere. If you basically have good organic content in the soil, if you plant trees and bushes and what, that will kind of suck all the CO2 back into the soil.
So it's your carbon footprint is you know decreasing at the same time.
And also it reduces water scarcity and floods because 90% of the water that goes into the farming land comes from soil. And also 65% of the fresh water comes from soil.
It's crazy to think how these are the things that you always learned in school. To prevent landslides, you need trees and you know more plants and stuff like that. But yet we are here.
You're still here.
Trees, and we are still doing it.
Yeah.
You know, like you want a like nice tree, like a table, wooden table or whatever, rather than using a recycled tree or recycled box, whatever you can make of.
Imagine like
cutting it down.
Even right now, every second, one football pitch worth of like forest has been like deforested. Every second, tick tick tick. Imagine like gone, forest gone every second.
So what can I do? Right.
So
I'm more concerned about that because obviously I want to get on board, and I've tried a lot of measures in the past trying to remove my carbon footprint of it. Obviously I've failed miserably.
Right now what you can do, because Sadhguru is taking this initiative or has already taken this initiative to ride his bike from London to India, going through 27 countries, riding 30,000 kilometers, visiting every country, and when he goes there he will visit like the political leader, like an influencer, like a citizens, and to spread the message, like doing events like embassy tira the UN Switzerland, the UN convention, he spoke. So he's doing everything he can. Obviously Sadhguru and his team and the whole Isha Foundation is behind it. What we can do right now, we don't have to do anything too difficult or too complicated. All we have to do is make noise. It's all about making noise. Right now, democracy is all about whoever makes the biggest noise. We'll get voted, right? So it's all about making noise right now. So one of the tagline of the soil movement is each one reach one. So you know someone like family or just mention soil. Oh, have you heard the soil movement? You know, do you know how important soil is? Or did you know, if you know some stats, actually you can go to the consciousplanet.org. There's so many stats and facts and all that. You can just take few and like it could be a good opener for even like good opener. Oh, did you know this fact? So talk about it to your friends and families. Spread it. Use the technology you have, the phone, the social media, mainly the social media, to spread the message. You don't have to do any like crazy videos or posts going to. You can just share whatever the page, conscious planet, safe soul page. Just get few. If you like few posts, you just share it. Spend 5-10 minutes every day. That's it.
All I'm saying is, if Ice Bucket Challenge got that much views, why isn't Safe Soil getting it?
The thing is that again, for anything to go viral, enough people have to do it. And then it's done. So I don't know where. So I saw this video. There was this. So it's on bossy downs again, and there's music going on, This one guy goes, like, he's like dancing wildly, and everyone's thinking like, who is this weirdo? And then 2 more people joins him, and everyone's like, ha ha ha, still laughing. And then 5 more people. After that, 20, 30, 50, 60, 100 people join. Now all of a sudden, that guy went from a weird guy to cool group.
Yeah.
I want to join the group. So everyone joins the group because now the more people does it, the more accepted it is. So same with any movement of viral videos, Save Soul initial movement masanta. So not people know about it. They say few months down the line or a year down the line, if it goes the way it's going, it's going to be pretty big. Then people all of a sudden like, oh, let's do the soil dance, or let's do this, and it will start getting popular and cooler again.
Because that works.
Yeah, it takes time.
It works, so everyone's a different type of learner. Yeah. So it's the social media age. Everyone's, we don't have much attention span. We are in the swipe culture. Everything's like scroll and swipe. So videos like that definitely work more than reading a paragraph on it.
That's why they always say, isn't it? Instead of working against it, work with it. Work with whatever works, but do it for the right reasons. Do it for the right campaign, and that's But I feel like I've learned so much just in this 1.5 hour. Okay, learning through this, the cycle, not knowing. Actually everything runs in a cycle, and that. Somehow connecting it to my personal life and my personal journey is so much useful, and also about the Save Soil campaign, about how Save Soil not only affects me but also everybody around me, and then all the other shit that came in between when we went off topic.
I honestly think I'm a student for life mentality. I think I've said this to everyone, and I have that. Well, I'm trying to. I'm not the brightest student, but today's been a good lesson. Yeah. It's been a very what I need kind of lesson. It's been good. But I shall be right on the Save Soil campaign. Make use of my dad's vegetable patch as much as I can.
And you can, simple thing you can do is, when you're working on the farm, or your garden, just take a quick video and just any story mode I had, just tag hashtag Save Soil or something like that.
Yeah, one thing I do, by the way, when you buy vegetables like bok choy, or lettuce heads, I usually regrow it so I can have my own mini lettuce heads. Yeah. So that I don't have to buy one more lettuce head from the store, right? Yeah. And it doesn't even need soil, to be fair. Just put it on water, and it works. So try whatever you can. Yeah.
I'm sure there's plenty of ways on the internet. If you just Google or if you just YouTube it, there are plenty of ways to reuse, recycle. Make use of what you already have, rather than just going and buying something new and wasting it. And
and that's a cycle in itself.
That's a cycle in itself.
They have a whole cycle for the recycle thing, and that's there for a reason.
Yeah. Oh my god.
People were smart. Humans are so smart.
Oh my god. So Dinesh, how do you feel like you've come out? In what ways do you feel like you've come out different after all these 7 months, 9 months in India?
So it's funny. So one of the things before going to India, I thought I know thing or two about life.
It humbled you basically.
Yeah, thing or two about spirituality. I've read a lot of books, watched a lot of videos, so I know quite a few. Not quite a few, but I know a thing or two. And when I went there, I felt like complete fool because you realize compared to how much you know, how much you don't know is unlimited. You're it's
that place must be amazing. The conversations you had, if you had time, to be fair, you're obviously doing the seva, you're doing meditation and everything. It must be next level stimulation to your brain.
Yeah,
it's not every day, conversations. It's
definitely everyone there, university like-minded people. You think oh my god, I feel humbled, and sometimes I feel do I even deserve this? So how you find me inspiring, I people there are super inspiring. From the brahmacharis there who taken, sannyas, like they've given up their whole life just to focus one pointed towards their ultimate goal. And also the full-time volunteers who could have earned a lot of money outside, but they chose to be there, like no money. I know a lot of doctors, business owners working full-time. I know one of my team leader, she just finished a chartered accounting course. Now that's a lot of money, right?
Yeah.
And you get a good salary after you work. She finished her study. I don't know if she started working or not. Now she joined the full-time team, and she's not even working in what she studied, like department. I guess she's doing completely different work, and she's totally committed. And like to see that, and to see the level of commitment is so inspiring. Even like in corporate world money, you don't see that level of commitment.
It's Sadhguru's ashram and Isha Foundation, and anyone who's going through spiritual journey who go through these places to actually rediscover, refine, and join the movement, right? These are the people, in my opinion, who are not scared of anything in life. They don't have a timeline to their limits, right? They're just like, strip it all off. I'm all I am to you. I'm devoted.
All in.
It's all in or nothing. And that's the literal way. And I think it's not because they stumbled on it in life. They wanted to be there.
And also the level of clarity they have is like crazy.
I actually think the opposite, I think those are the people that are so scared of living the way that they're living now that they felt like nothing could be worse, and that's why they, but at the same time, when they take that step, they do become fearless because they feel like, I've seen the worst, what now?
That's a different analogy.
So it could be somewhere in that range, from what you said to what you raised. People could be this extreme, that extreme, somewhere in the middle. But truly, they were like really, really inspiring people. And in my program, there were 1,200 people from over 65 countries.
Love it.
And what was truly inspiring was there were people 18, 19 years old, like नेपालबाट 18 वर्षको भएर आउँछ है. There's like one lady from France, she's just 18. Could you imagine? You think I'm courageous like those guys, like your age mother, like you go party and hang out. They're like in the ashram when they're 18, 19 years
old.
But
that I liked, something that you just said that I liked the most is that they were there and they were not even doing the job that they studied for. And this is so important for a lot of Nepalese people to understand, is that you don't always have to go do the job that you studied for. You might have liked that study, like you might have liked that topic, like that subject in uni, in whatever, but life, there's always change happening in life, and it's okay to just completely go to a different area where you're happy, but it's not okay to stay in that area and be unhappy just because you've dedicated a number of years, amount of money to it. And it's completely okay.
Career changes happen for a reason. And nothing comes great out of a toxic environment. And I think we all like to believe that, like you said, you've invested X amount of years, why aren't you doing that? And it's not okay for, I don't know why it's not okay, for in our Nepalese society to do things out of your degree, do things completely out of this. Like, I'm pretty sure when Dinesh and I went through this movement, they're just like, oh, why are you quitting camp? Like, they probably had that conversation in their head, probably not said it to you. But just be true to yourself.
Exactly. It's okay. Like, be more scared of being unhappy every day of your life than being scared of, oh, okay, I've spent this much number. Just don't get fixated to the number, Be the one thing that you should be fixated is like, are you happy? Are you peaceful? Have you achieved moksha?
Oh, that's a long way. But what I learned from talking about work, it's not about what you do, but how you do it. Because you could be washing your dishes, but you could be washing your dishes with full involvement and full focus and consciousness. That is
to a level of skill.
And that will top anything that you do half-heartedly. So in like just the ashram, even if you go to like Buddhist monk, all they do is sweep the floor, cook the food, wash the dishes, like just like simple chores,
Exactly.
But that is part of the sadhana, because it's not like, oh, त्यो चाहिँ काम, meditation चाहिँ sadhana, this is more important, काम चाहिँ not important. That is equally as important, because if you do that काम with full consciousness, full awareness, that is also a tool that will lead you to moksha or liberation.
Exactly. And it's like, it's so, uske hamro society, hamro world is so fixated on money, to be honest, precisely talking about it. No? If you're at a higher paid job, if you're at a higher thing, they automatically think, oh, they're earning that much, they can afford a few material things in life, and they must be super happy. Bairabata herda po happy. They would have had to sacrifice a lot of things to get there. A lot of inner peace. Sacrificing a lot of inner peace to get there. And it doesn't come easy. Any high-paying job doesn't come easy. You have to have the right amount of grit, the responsibilities, the hard work, the time that you have to put in. But also at the same time, somebody could be, for example, making a plate, but they will be making it so creatively, so nicely, and they'll be so happy about their job. It may not pay well, but they're happy about it. And that's just, I don't know, I feel like that's such a simple concept to understand, but not enough people understand it.
To go with that, can I tell a story?
Yeah.
So, there's 3 people. They're all doing the same work. They were breaking the rock, basically.
Yeah.
And this guy came and he went to the first person. He's like, what are you doing? And the guy was like, are you blind? Can you not see? I'm breaking the rock.
Yeah.
I was like, okay, cool. He went to another guy. He was doing the same thing. What are you doing? He's like, you know what? I'm, trying to make a living, trying to put some food in on the table for me and my family. Okay, cool. He went to the third person. What are you doing? And the third person was like, the first 2 person was like, they were doing it because they had to do it. The third person was fully involved. He was like happy. What are you doing? He asked. And the third person was, I'm building the most glorious temple that you can ever find. So he's like, his whole intention, or the goal is like much bigger.
Yeah. Earlier we were talking about this guy who owns a business, who's like earning loads amount of money. He could afford to have his daughter married in the National History Museum in London. Okay? He has that amount of money. But the car he drives is Volkswagen Golf.
And then he drives Peugeot van.
Every day. Every day. And, that's the level of humbleness that I want to achieve. Like, I know I am rich, but that's just for me. That's not to show the world. That's not to, like, make others look to me.
Not look inferior. You don't want to be superior. Drive on that masculine energy, basically. In a cycle.
But oh my god, right. Is there anything else that you want to share with our viewers? Anything that you felt like?
When I'm going back, where?
Are you going back to the ashram again?
Not for 7 months, no, 9 months. But I'll probably, in the future, I'll probably visit for a couple of weeks. Because I've got 1 or 2 programs that I need to attend. It's high-level programs, okay?
And I hope you're taking Janaki with you this time.
I hope she goes with me.
I'm sure she will. Because she's on the same wavelength as you as well in terms of, matching your energy. And I think, Janaki will be very much, And I hope you invite us as well, because I would very much love to visit.
Before you come to the ashram or India, whatever, make sure you at least do the basic programs, the basic level, entry level programs, which is, you can do, I think, London you didn't buy that. You can do the inner engineering program, which is online mapanisa and offline manisa. Offline is, I would recommend offline because you're actually there, so you get more of the experience. Online, people might get lazy and not focus too much. But the best is if you were to do inner engineering in the ashram itself. It's called inner engineering retreat, 5 days. You stay there, the food is provided, everything is done, and the experience is like, whoa.
My goal this year, if I get the space, if not next year, is to go for a Vipassana.
Vipassana. Then I've been to Vipassana twice. Once as a participant, once as a volunteer, and I highly recommend to anyone. anymore.
That's been a goal of mine for years, but I've been prolonging it. Soon enough. But anyways,
so I just want to make a disclaimer. I think I should have done this at the beginning, but I don't know. People would reach to this point. That whatever I said, because even though I've been to the ashram and lived there for 9 months, it's not like I'm completely transformed or I'm a different person. Yes, a few things may have changed, but I still have the old compulsion, old tendencies and patterns and whatnot. Because it's not easy to get rid of those old patterns.
Yeah,
it's so deeply ingrained that it takes years and years and years of sadhana to get there. But you can at least become a little bit little bit aware, a little bit more conscious. And so the disclaimer is that whatever I've said so far, not everything comes from my own personal experience. This is something I've heard from Sadhguru, or maybe I've heard it from other spiritual teachers, or I've read it somewhere. So it's a mixture of the knowledge that I've gained from listening, reading, hearing, and then also a little bit of personal experience from being in the ashram and my own meditation and yoga. So I'm not in any way an expert, and not everything I said comes from my personal experience. So don't take it.
I think if you did the fire dance for the celebration, then I think you're well equipped enough.
Did you see how proud Janaki Didi was?
Oh my God.
I was like, this is cute. She put it on us, but I was like, this is cute.
And he's so humble for not mentioning it as well at the same time. Oh my God. But anyway, thank you so much, Dinesh, for coming today and teaching us a few things and making us realize a few things in life, and also reassuring us in some way. And I hope the viewers felt the same thing as well.
That's all I have to say. I literally said before, I'm mind blown. I don't think I'm even here right now. Miles away. That's how I feel. And I'm happy to share this space and the fact that Dinesh came to our studio.
I have a last request. This is for Save Soul campaign or Save Soul movement. One of the things like Sadhguru keeps saying is, if you don't do what you cannot do, it means like if you're not able to do, you don't have the ability or capacity. If you don't do what you can't do, it's okay. But if you don't do what you can do, that you're not using your full potential, or you're making the most out of your ability. And Save Soul movement is so important. If you don't do right now what you can do, then you're basically doing a crime against humanity or for the next generation, because you're basically living this world worse than what it was when you first came here. Because it is a generational responsibility to do our best to leave this world in a much better condition for our children, grandchildren, for the next generation, basically. But if we were to just not care or ignore and just do what you want to do and then just leave this planet or leave this life, then the next generation will have to suffer from your action, your things that you do say will affect the next generation. So be very mindful, be very sensitive. It's about time that we make it happen. So let's make it happen. Save soil.
Thank you. Thank you for coming there.